Welcome to All for One, the ultimate series where we share knowledge, celebrate wins, and tackle the ups and downs of the vacation rental industry. I'm Katie Bien.
And I'm Christy Conway. And between Katie and I, we have a combined 25 years in the vacation rental industry. Every week, we are going to bring you a 5-minute episode packed with information on how to focus on growing your company and, of course, making sure your company stands out.
So pull up a chair and join us as we delve into the fascinating world of vacation rental management on All for One. Because when it comes to success in this industry, we're all in it to win it together. Thank you for joining us. On today's episode, we are talking about unlocking growth potential, how to focus your marketing efforts. So, Christy, why don't you tell us about your experience and how you had intentional growth with your company?
When I was in business development, at first I sent like 6,000 postcards out, and my company was like, well, how did the postcard go? And I would go, I don't know. And what happened from there was, with my budget, I was exceeding the budget that they had given me. So ultimately, what I ended up doing is creating a target A list, a target B list, and a target C list. And that's where companies really need to decide who are your actual targets. Like, of course, you'll take anyone in the area, but you need to focus your growing efforts on who it is you actually want in your company because you're spending real money on these people. And typically, like the A list that we had was anything like walking distance to that destination. So whether that would be like Disney parks or ours was the beach. And then our B list would be something where it was, potential walk driving. And then C would be way out. But anybody that we put in the C list, they had to have some type of amenity. We didn't want anyone without amenities because when you talk to the guests, the first thing they say is, where's the pool, tennis courts? Of course, now it's pickleball courts as well. So amenities is important. Don't take a property because you like it. If it's too far away and no amenities, you're never going to make the owner happy with how much you can rent it for unless it's dirt cheap.
Yeah, I at our company, we made the mistake of taking whatever property came our way. We didn't really have like a standard or really any insight into what was our key target property. And so I think it's really important to develop that so that way you are focused, you're growing with intention, and you don't have to come back years later and cut out those properties that are underperforming. And I think especially back in 2020, like it was really easy to have a management program and be able to book things that maybe weren't the best properties, but that's not possible anymore. There's so much saturation. You really have to be selective on what properties you have, so it's going to help you stand out from all the different homes that are in your market.
And Katie, what do you think too? So once you have the perfect property, then you have to think about the owner and who that owner is as well, right? So you want to make sure too, you connect with that owner and you absolutely understand how they want their communication. Do they want to be text? Do they want email? Do they want phone calls? Because now you have the perfect property. Now you have to keep that owner happy as well. So you create those lists and now you have to create these personas of one, the owners that you actually want in your program, and two, figure out how to handle those people as well. So I don't know what your experience was, but owners came next after partners. Who is it that you want in your program?
Yeah, absolutely. I think we learned the hard way there too of like there's certain owner personas that just didn't really fit with our management style. Somebody that had a home that they had a lot of sentimental attachment to, and they really needed a lot of our team's time,
Yeah.
especially if it was a low performing home. Those two things don't mix well at all together. My favorite, of course, was the investors, especially seasoned investors who they knew, okay, I know what it's like to have a vacation rental home. I understand that there's highs and lows. I understand that I need to reinvest into my home to keep it fresh, to keep it performing well. So that's definitely something to consider too. And I wish there was a way you could know that on the front end. You could just filter out and only talk to homeowners that were the right persona, but it is part of that vetting process. How did you do that, Christy? Did you have like a certain questions that you would ask homeowners? How were you able to get those homeowners vetted?
Absolutely. So what it was for me is expectations, right? So really knowing your market. That's so important as the business development. If somebody asks you, hey, how much money am I going to make on this property? You need to know at least at a minimum an estimate, right? So even if it's you don't know if it's 25 or 30, say 24 to 31. Hey, and when I get back, I'll run some numbers. So you need to be able to give them something to keep them excited. So we want to make sure we're able to set some type of expectations with them, and then also be totally upfront of what your company covers. Because the last thing you want is your competition, which I use this against my competition all the time, was, hey, wait till you get those hidden fees. You're not going to be happy. And I know that because people come to me and they tell me that. So being totally transparent about what you're charging and the services you provide. The first contract I ever used when I was in business development, of course, it did get shorter over time, was 17 pages long. And believe it or not, I sat with people and attorneys that signed this contract, but it went over everything. There was no mud in the water, right? They knew what they were getting from us and they knew what we were, expecting.
And that ties back to another thing too with these homeowners is getting them to understand the cost of doing business and that there are things that are going to happen. Your home is not your home anymore, right? It's now a business and there are people in it. So you might get dings on the walls from luggage coming in the door, right? You might get a pet that has an accident if you have a pet friendly home. What did you all do in your company to help set those expectations and teach homeowners that these things are gonna happen? It's a hard conversation to have, but I remember I had to have it. I'm like, "Hey, just so you know, these are the things that are gonna happen. Things are gonna get broken. It's gonna be an accident. Please do not put your grandmother's, painting that she made you on the wall because that is the one thing that is gonna fall off and break or disappear. Like nothing else will ever happen, but your grandmother's thing will be
Oh
the
my
thing that
gosh.
got hurt." So we told everybody that over and over again. If it's sentimental, if you're going to be sad if it goes missing or gets
Mhm.
broken, do not put it in the house.
Yeah. So a couple things. So what we would do when I would do a walkthrough is I would ask them, hey, if you had 1 hour to clean this house, what would you want to get rid of? And, the trinkets are cute, they're great, but you're just delivering a clean home, a clean experience. So, unfortunately, you have to get rid of the trinkets. Of course, you want a good statement piece, right? And you want good wall art, and all of that. But the most important thing to me, first of all, was get rid of any trinkets, any junk, so your house can be cleaned properly and it's going to be better for you at the end of the season as well. And I'm sure you know too, if a home is clean when a guest gets to it, they treat it so much better. If it looks like junk, they're going to treat it like junk, unfortunately.
All right, let's wrap it up with some action items. So, number one, know your A targets. Know the types of properties that you want to focus your marketing efforts towards, whether it's by location or a certain amenity, or maybe there's a niche in your market that you can fill. Which leads me to number two. Make sure that you understand owner personas and know which owners you want to work with. Do you prefer to work with investors? Do you like working with family owned properties where you get to tell that story of how other families are going to create those memories in those homes? And three, know how to properly set those expectations and have those conversations on the front end with the homeowners. You want to make sure that they understand the process as much as possible and that you're also coaching them towards setting up their property for success. Well, I think that's it for today. Thank you so much for watching. Check back with us next week. I'm Katie,
And I'm Christy.
and this is All for One. Bye.
You guys, thanks.